All right, my hip replacement friends. I didn't think I'd be back, but I'm back. And I really want to move into a direction of renewal. So I personally had my total hip replacement. It was surgery number 3 on my left hip. I had surgery number 4. I had 3 labrum revisions and decided to just start over, get a total hip replacement in February. It got infected. I had it redone in April. So I'm 8 months out of my hip replacement, 6-ish months out of my revision, 5 months out of my revision. And I'm in the renewal phase, not the recovery phase. And so I wanted to get a series going of what does it mean to have a renewal following something as major as hip replacement? Because let's be real, it's major. I talked a lot in my first series on the recovery side about how frustrated I was when you would hear, oh, my neighbor had it. He did fine. He was 80. He was running in 2 weeks. Uh-uh. Eliminate that nonsense because that's not the norm. The norm is this is hard, really hard. So I'm 6-ish, 5.5, 6 months out of my revision. We'll just stay there. And I want to go into the place of renewal because for me personally, this is all new. The way that I sit, the way that I walk, the way that I live, the way that I sleep, the way that I get up and down, the way that I basically live my entire life is new. And so I thought about what is this? What phase am I in? I'm not recovering anymore. I'm definitely not thriving. I'm just kind of in this space. And so this series is going to be something that talks about finding the new, being able to move on, finding acceptance, still living with hope, finding joy, creating joy. I want to talk about a little bit of movement because movement's so important. And I did do a 4-part series post hip movement. So please check that out. It walks you through simple ways to move the entire body and not just focus on the hip because we're entire beings. And I want to talk about the mind, the body, the spirit, everything that goes into this very significant event in our lives, having a total hip replacement. I'm so grateful that there are people out there that feel immediate relief and that it's the best thing they've ever done. I'm so grateful for them. I think that that's awesome. I'm glad for them. I'm really glad. But there is a huge population of people who don't feel great post hip replacement, who are still struggling, who are figuring out what's their new normal. And so I want to talk about that and be very honest and very real about the experiences that many of us have when it comes to creating comfort, pleasure, joy, happiness, struggles. How do we navigate it all? So, this series is going to be about renewing ourselves and finding ways to move on in this new way of being, ways to cultivate purpose and joy, and to not be stuck, to not stay stuck. Okay. So, if you are just having a hip replacement, scoot on back to the hip replacement mindful recovery. There's a lot of tips and tricks about the wholeness of us that we need to focus on, not just the hip. As you heal, there's a 4-part series on movement. And as a 18-year yoga teacher, Pilates teacher, I'm all about the body moving functionally and well. But this is reality. This is real. My body does not want to move. It doesn't want to do what it did pre-surgery. So again, many people go into surgery in an incredible amount of pain and they come out feeling better. And I'm happy for them. Many of us go into surgery hoping and wondering that we will feel better. And our reality is that we don't. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about what do we do with those emotions that arise in us where we feel incredible disappointment, maybe regret, maybe anger. And how do we turn that heavy emotions and recycle them into something that's purposeful and powerful? So stay tuned. This is just the beginning. And one of the topics that I want to talk about today is moving on. Moving on. And that's a tough one because a lot of us want to compare our experience today with what we hear from other people, what we thought it was going to be way back when we did this, and it's not. So, moving on to me is, again, finding things every day. I talk about this all the time, finding one thing every day that brings me joy. And that propels me in the direction of moving on. I am very real and honest with myself that my body is not happy with this hip. It is not comfortable. I live in pain every single day. My mobility is very limited, more limited than it was pre surgery. So, how do I move on? Well, I developed some new habits, some new hobbies. I learned how to bake amazing bread. I learned how to can jams and jellies. I turned my garden into a soulful place of where I can just go and escape, and I can sit on a chair, or I can walk through my garden. I can pick some things. I can watch some things. I get my mind out of my hip. I have taken on just some new things in my life that feel really good, that don't put a strain on my hip. And that to me is forward motion. I'm never going to kickbox again. I'm probably never going to sit cross legged again. I'm probably never going to be able to get down and up easily and gracefully and swiftly like I did pre surgery. I'm probably never going to do a plie again. Not that I'm a ballerina, but I do teach a Pilates inspired, ballet inspired Pilates. Will I ever do a play again? Probably not. But I've done things in the last 6 months that I had never done before. And I found joy there. And so I'm just going that direction. And life changes, right? We think all the time that life has to be the way that it was. And how boring would that be if a year from now we're the same as we are today? I think we're constantly searching to evolve and to become better versions. So why not our bodies as well? And there's a lot of grace that comes with being able to say, I'm never going to kickbox again. It's always going to be hard to get out in and out of a car. I'm never going to sit cross-legged again. And maybe somebody might criticize me and say, that's absolute unfairness, that's limitation. Maybe it is, but I know my body and I know what I feel, and I'm okay with there are a few things in my life that will be never, because I have bazillions of things that are for sure or yeses. So the way that I have moved on is really helping myself stay protected from the interference that comes from other people's opinions, like how I should sue my surgeon, how I should have just be so angry at my surgeon, how I should do all of these things against my surgeon and write bad reviews. My surgeon's amazing. My surgeon has done to this day everything possible to help me move forward and heal. This isn't about the surgeon. This is about me. Not that I'm to blame because I've done nothing wrong, but my body is healing at a rate that is very different than other people. Now, the culture that we live in is blame. I'm not a blamer. This is what it is. So that helps me to move on. So I've eliminated a lot of noise. People come to me, they want to tell me what they think I should do to my surgeon. They no longer get to have space in my life. I'm just not going to put up with it. It's not helpful. It's not encouraging. Don't want to have it. Okay. So finding joy every day, doing a hobby, learning something, being curious about something is forward motion. Eliminating the nonsense in your life that holds you back into a place of anger. It's two things I've done to move on. And the third thing that I've done, which I continue to do every day for the last 20 plus years, is I find gratitude every single day in what my body can do. I don't focus on sitting cross-legged and kickboxing because those are things I can't do, but I focus on what I can do. So the three things that have helped me move on: hobbies, learning, getting curious, cultivating a feeling of wanting to learn and to do something that maybe is creative, that maybe is soul fulfilling, that maybe gets me out of my head, but something in the realm of hobbies, curiosity, and learning. Number one. Number two is I eliminate the chatter. Get it out of here. Not going to help me. And number three, first and always, is gratitude. Okay, so that's how I've moved on. As I continue through this renewal process, I'll be sharing with you other tips, other ways that we can renew ourselves through this process of hip replacement and find a newness to us, mind, body, and spirit. We'll do a little bit of movement occasionally. I want to throw out some ideas that might ring something in you that makes you feel like, yes, I can do that. And we'll just travel this second phase together. I really, really, really appreciated all of the community that occurred in my first series of the Mindful Recovery. I felt so good and so connected and so not alone. And so as we shift into renewal, let's stay together. Let's stick together. Let's team up. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're doing in your world in the newness of this. And let's learn together and let's support each other and let's continue to heal in whatever way that is for each of us. Deal? All right. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So we've moved from recovery. We're into renewal. Let's do this. All right. I will talk to you soon. I will see you soon. I've got lots of topics ahead on renewing ourselves. All right. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.